not just from observation, from spirituality, everything. And I invite anyone who thinks otherwise, who has different viewpoints, to come with me on a live stream podcast. I'm super open to it. The thing is that a lot of people don't take up this opportunity because they're not confident in themselves. They don't really believe their viewpoint. They rather criticize me than come to an open discussion, and they lack self-worth maybe also. And I'm 100% confident about the things that I say. And when I say that Teal Swan's idea of masculine containment is bullshit, we can talk about it. We can talk about it. And the thing is, you can't really talk about these things in comment format. You have to do them in a podcast, because otherwise there's no room to really look at these things in detail. So the comments, while you can write a lot in the comments, it really doesn't make any sense. And by the way, I've never said that I'm enlightened. That's super important to say, because I make a clear distinction between awakening and enlightenment. And I think this is another problem in spirituality. I say spirituality is not like math, where you have 1 plus 1 and equals 2. Spirituality is like every idiot can have an opinion. Every idiot can have an opinion on spirituality. It's like religion, and everybody thinks they're right. Um, but for that reason, I'm super open. If anybody wants to discuss spirituality or Teal Swan, or my opinions or ideas about Teal Swan and their opinions about Teal Swan, we can do so in an open podcast, live here on YouTube. It's super simple. And the reason I'm open to this is because I'm highly confident in what I'm saying. I'm extremely confident in the things that I say. And if I should be wrong anywhere, I will be the first one to confess that I was wrong, but I'm not. And the the thing about, someone's childhood trauma, I could care less about this one. I want to hear more about what you have to say. Uh, well, a lot of people listen to Teal Swan. That's why I make a video about it, because people don't realize, just because you're traumatized doesn't mean you're a good spiritual healer. Just because you left a traumatic situation doesn't mean you become a good general spiritual healer. Um, I've done 1,000 sessions with women, tantra massages, intimate massages, healing sessions, and so forth, in which I learned a lot about nadis, chakras, emotions, my ability to heal, and all of this stuff. And if everybody that got rid of a trauma were a good healer, then we would have, thousands of healers running around. But that's not the case. By the way, there's documentaries and information about Teal Swan, that she is narcissistic and all of this stuff, and that she also has abusive tendencies and all of this stuff. And I think the real guru, and I'm not necessarily talking about myself, I'm just talking in general. The real guru has the ability of letting everything go, who doesn't need to become a healer, who doesn't need to become this or that. It's more like they are mm, guided. They're more guided by kind of like a grace. You could call it grace, which is independent of some ego, because Teal Swan has a massive ego. She wants this huge thing going on. That's why she's clinging so much for fame and all of this shit. She's really trying to have this, this big megalomaniac mission. And that just shows you that she's not centered in herself. Because the true guru can let go of everything. And this is actually an opportunity when coronavirus hit, and I start with the massages. I start with them already before for another reason, but that was the moment I said, this is an opportunity. It's an opportunity to really let go of massaging women intimately, and showing to yourself, proving to yourself that you're not, doing this for the wrong reasons. And since then, the universe, not like in the beginning, hasn't really brought me back to doing tantra massages. It wasn't like, oh, when I'm missing that so much and I really want to start doing this again. Never happened. Which seems strange, because a lot of men would be like, oh my god, that's the best job in the world. And for a time it was. But I think that if everything is an illusion, and everything Maya, everything temporary, then it really doesn't matter what you're doing or not doing. You can follow your heart energy. You see, I would go so far. I would go so far to say, and this is a Teal Swan titled video. I would go so far as to say that Teal Swan is doing what she's doing because she's still traumatized naturally from childhood, and she wants to re-educate men, basically. So it doesn't come from an awakening or enlightenment or any kind of this kind of, or energy healer perspective. It's more like a traumatized person that by force wants to change the world. That never works. Might work for a short moment in time, but that's also where her narcissism, or where her controlling stuff comes from. Is that when things don't go the way she wants it to go, because she feels that inner desire to change people and men and trauma behavior, then she gets aggressive. It seems like that's what it seems like from what I understood from the documentary. And you could also say it differently. Spirituality is kind of like a constant reset. It's the ability to let go of everything, absolutely everything, even the idea that you have a brand, that you have, that you are a healer, that you have earn money with this or that. The ability to completely let go and reset tabula rasa, that life can take a completely new turn at any moment in time because everything is so new and fresh. And the best way to do this is listen to your heart, in the sense like, don't do by the heart, don't do actions, rather just sit in silence and listen to your heart. And that's all you have to do, because the more you listen to your heart, the more you will intuitively do without having to think about it. That's the fascinating thing. You will intuitively do the right next move. It's and the fascinating thing is, like, the actions that you do automatically start to change. It's like you've been doing this and this and this and this every single day of the year for your whole life. The routine stays the same. And then when you start to listen to the heart chakra, it's like it takes a completely new turn immediately. It's super interesting. And it's very subtle, but it's there. And I don't think that you need more than that. That's the thing. Like, all of these people are trying to teach and do stuff that there's one concept and a new concept then this book, then that book. No, just listen to your heart. That's it. If you learn a little bit what toxic metaframing is, then you can avoid toxic people. That's maybe that's something you can do. That's a benefit. But other than that, because most people, they try to always do some kind of action. They always try to find some next action they can do. How do I improve myself? Okay, now I have to make a plan to do this many sit-ups and push-ups and whatnot, in my business, do this and that. But if you just listen to the heart, you start to get a truly fulfilling life, and it shows itself in small actions that just happen by themselves. And I would even go so far, people who are tremendously successful, including celebrities, you should be always, I'm not saying everyone is like that, but principally you should be very cautious with those people, because in order to get there, in order for them to achieve this kind of success, usually they have to do things which are not really in accordance with their true heart desire mission. There's usually some other energy, some trauma energy behind it. For example, a lot of people don't know that Steve Jobs was highly traumatized. He never got over the fact that he was uh, adopted. That's also why I think that he never could let go of this hard, intense work, which then made him lose sight of the real sweetness of life, which then fucked up his pancreas, which then caused pancreatic cancer. And yeah.